Is it working this time? Last time I was just talking to myself, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it ever worked. Hello. Victor, Zeldalina, Darkness, Lobsoul, Asgore, Jaime, or Jamie, depending on how it's pronounced. I apologize if I got it wrong. Hello, Jeff. Hello, everyone. I'm going to upset the cat. Say hello, Bob. Hello. Hello. I'm so cute. I'm small and purring and adorable. And the reason that I can't leave this chair. But it's so cute. He's so cute. I love it. Mwah. He's very mad at me now. Hello, everyone. I apologize for the technical issue. That was due to the fact that I thought my computer could handle doing two things at once, and it can't. Hello, Carla, Bonich, welcome. We are gonna, I guess, just answer questions. Somebody in Discord asked me if I'd do like a Silent Hill Q&A thing, and I figured it's horror month also, so general horror discussion would be fun. I thought about putting an actual video together, but I'm literally working on 4 projects right now, and I was like, no, I don't think I need to make another video. So my general horror thoughts, opinions, my favorites, and all that jazz might be fun. I should have gone and grabbed some of my favorite books. Instead, I have a cat in my lap, so that won't happen. But that's okay. That's the price to pay for cat. He's so freaking cute. He had worms when he was a kitten, and he's fine now. But because of that, he never grew into his adult cat size, so he's just like a teenager cat. He's just small. He doesn't even fill my whole lap. It's super cute. He fits on one leg. He just doesn't like being alone. He's very upset if I go anywhere, so I'm just gonna sit right here and make me stay. Hello, Diego. Thanks for joining us. So, horror stuff. If you have questions on anything related to horror games, movies, whatever, feel free. Otherwise, I'm just gonna ramble about my favorite horror shit. Though I should start by saying, Masahiro Ito, delight and fantastic creator, announced today, well, you know, sometimes he tweets about Silent Hill, and today he tweeted about how Valtiel's face was inspired by a BDSM full face mask, which, like, I think we always knew. Like, his stuff is so sexual, but I just love him confirming this stuff. Just, yeah, these specific masks here are what gave me the idea for Valtiel. I love it. Bob, you're leaving? He'll come back. So what was my thoughts of Fire Walk With Me? Ooh, that was intense. I really liked Fire Walk With Me. For some reason, I found it less disturbing than Blue Velvet, even though they had a lot of the same, like, themes and visuals. Blue Velvet was worse to me for some reason. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to make myself finish that movie at some point. But I did really enjoy it. Visuals were fantastic. It was deeply upsetting. So good. Like, I think it works best, definitely, having seen Twin Peaks first and then Fire Walk With Me. And I definitely wouldn't recommend that film to everyone, but I highly enjoyed it. How Dahlia and Claudia relate to each other? They're, you know, similar characters. They play similar roles in both games. You know, 3 is very much a mirror of 1, and so Claudia kind of takes on Dahlia's role, but in a different way, because Claudia's kind of a true believer, way more than Dahlia was. To a certain extent, I think Dahlia believed, but she was also serving herself. Claudia wasn't, which is really neat. So she kind of also critiques Dahlia, you know, kind of foils her at the same time as she plays the same role. If I could forget a horror game to replay for the first time, I don't know. I guess 2, Silent Hill 2 might be fun, because I generally, well, that's the thing. I went into 2 knowing everything, because it had been out for so long by the time I played it, so actually getting to play it without knowing anything might be neat. Fatal Frame 5, yes, I have heard. I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait for that game, and I'm hoping to finish hacking my Wii so we can play the previous games before then, but I just haven't worked on it. I hate technology. I hate reading things, reading instructions. I'm not good at following written instructions. Favorite Silent Hill game? I always say Downpour or Silent Hill 4. It depends on my mood, but 4 is really, really special to me. It's like the one that I became obsessed with as a kid. And then in college, Downpour was like the first new Silent Hill that I played that really like just hit me hard. How I'd played Homecoming before then. I don't think I played Shattered Memories and Origins until later because I didn't have a PSP. But I love both of those games. What's the worst horror game I've ever played? Obscure 2 is so bonkers. I know there's a lot of people that really loved it, but playing it now, like 10 years after it came out, the script drives me nuts. It's so bad. Can you see a bit of Laura and Lisa and Alessa? Yes. I was thinking, honestly, Angela. I wonder how much, because I just gonna have to write my thoughts out on all this. Fire Walk With Me seems to have been such a heavy inspiration on Silent Hill 2, and theoretically on the versions of Silent Hill 2 that we didn't see, because they rewrote the story 3 times, and that took up a lot of the time in the budget. And there was a darker version of the story that involved multiple personalities and a romantic relationship between a man and a woman that involved murder, and one of them, you know, kind of being attacked. It was sort of based on Jack the Ripper, sort of not, and knowing all that makes watching Fire Walk With Me really fascinating because I feel like there's a lot of those themes in there that could have influenced that. And I think Laura's whole situation and the way that she feels and expresses her pain about what's going on definitely comes through with Angela because they are like very similar. Ooh. Have I ever played Remothered? I tried to stream it and I couldn't get the audio to work. Was it the PC version? I don't remember, but I am going to have to stream that game at some point. Toyama Kiichiro loves Remothered. That's like one of his favorite new horror games, so that's how I found out about it. I want to play it at some point. Does your mom or any family? No. No, none of my family, my immediate family, not that big into horror. Last night I tried to put on I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in This House, and my mom went, "Oh, that seems sad." Like, okay, we'll put on something else. Like, in general, my mom will watch that stuff with me. She's seen the film. She's watched me play a little of the games. My niece is terrified. She's 13, wants nothing to do with it, walks out of the room if I say the word. My cousin Brad is a gamer, and he's played them, and we can chat about them and get into them way more. But that's probably the only person. My friends were pretty big into them. Growing up, I was the kid that played the Silent Hill games. I was the kid that played any of the games. And they watched, so we kind of all got into it through that. So I have a group of friends that all know about it. But I'm definitely the one that's obsessed. I'm just that way, I guess. I have played Outlast. I enjoyed the first Outlast. I'll have to play the second one at some point. But it was fun. The original Legacy of Kain's available. I have been told. I have Soul Reaver and I think the other ones, but I've not tried that one, so I will probably have to get that. I can't get it through GOG. My PC will not stream, and it won't work out that way, but I'm going to emulate it. I'll buy that version later. So yeah, horror. Oh, I could pull up some pictures. Let's do that. Time Machine. One horror thing I really recommend heavily that's actually pretty easy to get access to nowadays is called Tamashin. It is a manga by one of my favorite authors of all time, Hideyuki Kikuchi. Let's pull this image over, see if I can just open up an image. Add image of thing. Yes, add. No, not a cactar. I don't want to add that. Tamashin is like if you've ever seen the Japanese films Onmyoji, it's like that crossed with Hellsing. There's my boy. It's a manga. You can get it through nowadays apps, internet stores like Barnes & Noble sells it on the Nook. Amazon sells it on their reading app thing. You probably can't find it scanned anywhere because it's really obscure, and only 2 of the books got published in the United States. It did not sell well, but it's really fascinating. It is the story of an exorcist who is also a spider demon, and the various humans that he meets and handles kind of deals with their lives, but he's very like Alucard from Hellsing, like just kind of chaos and violent and self-interested and really fascinating and fun. I've not finished the whole series, but I mean, it's great. I love it. I love all of Hideyuki Kikuchi's works. He's the guy behind Vampire Hunter D, Demon City Shinjuku, all that stuff. And I just found out today he put out a new book this year called West of Innsmouth, a Western, an American Western Call of Cthulhu story, and I have to have that immediately. I love his works. Thank you, Vessel of Amala. Have I seen Beyond the Black Rainbow? I have not. There's so much stuff out there. I gotta get into all this. If there was a character like Angela and Maria as a person, would you find that interesting? Well, no, because if it's a real life thing, like I've known real life people, unfortunately, that have had to suffer those things, and that sucks. That's not really like the same as exploring character themes and stuff. But those games have always hit me very hard because, I grew up in the United States surrounded by young women who went through stuff like that. It just happens, unfortunately, which is part of why I really appreciate the fact that these games explore those themes so maturely and so well. Have I read? No, I saw you talking about that on Twitter, and I was like, well, I'm adding that to my list. Phantom Tales of the Night looks really good. I've been trying to catch up on Junji Ito since all his stuff's coming out, but I haven't quite got there yet. I'm still reading Vampire Hunter D volume, I think, 14, which is really good. It's the one where the vampire hunter named D has like a clone or something. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it looked like him. Vampire Hunter D is really great. It's a post-apocalyptic future story where there are monsters and vampires and creatures, and Vampire Hunter D travels around, and each book is basically like an episode in his life where he solves a crime. Think the TV show Supernatural, but with anime, and it's a book. It's really good. If you can't get the books, you can watch the movies, though the books are also available digitally in a lot of places. Physically, some of them are really expensive, and I'm the weirdo that owns all of them. I really love all his books. They are so creepy and weird and unpredictable. They are violent and erotic and homoerotic and just very well done. So beautiful. I can't even put words to his work. It's just fascinating. If you like Shin Megami Tensei, if you like anime, Hellsing, you'd probably enjoy his works and should give them a shot. Some of them are far more graphic and sexual and terrible than others, but there are some really good ones. Oh, thank you, Zach. Yeah, Resident Evil Village was very good. I actually streamed that a while back. My favorite Kikuchi series is Yashikiden. I have not gotten to that yet. I'm working through Demon City Shinjuku. I read the first two, and now I'm on, I think, what comes next after that? Maybe Yashikiden is the next one. I'm on book 14 of Vampire Hunter series. I've read Demon City Shinjuku and Demon Babylon something. I read his Dracula retelling, which is really fun. The Dracula in Dark something, Dracula in Magi, where he goes to Japan when there's samurai around. It was great. His short stories, which I actually did a live stream reading of on my second channel, the book channel in the description below. And we read some of Demon City Shinjuku. We haven't finished that either. And then Tamashine, which is really fascinating. There's two versions of it, but one of them, I think, got canceled and he like reimagined it as something else, and the second one, the Red Spider Exorcist, is the one that I really like. Other horror stuff. Well, I mentioned how much I love Hellsing. That is probably still Mahoden. That's the one. I read the first Mahoden, but the second one didn't get published physically, so I don't have that one. I gotta buy it on the Nook, I guess. I hate that. I want things physically, but unfortunately, some of his works didn't get popular enough over here to continue getting published. Mahoden was messed up. That's the one that had the weird, freaky bear sex. Yeah, so don't jump into that one without maybe reading some warnings. Which Silent Hill has the best music, in your opinion? Honestly, I think 3, probably. He just put a lot of work. Him, and actually there was a team, there was more people, but the team behind Silent Hill 3's music did such a good job at trying to create like this coherent vision. The Silent Hill band, Joe Ramersa, Kenji, I can't remember his full name, Yamaoka, of course, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, just lovely stuff. The first 2 games were really kind of creepy and haunting, but 3, he really created something that like I would just sit down and chill to. Way more than the previous games. They're great. But honestly, all the games have tracks that just kick ass. So horror, Hellsing. Hellsing is a manga, 10 volumes, that you can now get in these freaking huge hardback editions that are great. I love that series. It's by Kota Hirano. It's about vampires in England and these people that hunt them, and the vampire that works for the hunters, who is actually Dracula. Spoiler. He's wild and chaotic and fascinating, and the manga are really just beautiful excuses for violence with some philosophy thrown in there for spice. And it's just so fun. The art's so beautiful. The vampires are so incredibly violent. And my mother bought me the TV show, the OVA, for my 13th birthday and walked in on me and my friends watching it during the part where Alucard was throwing all the corpses onto the flagpoles, and I almost lost my birthday present. I do not know how I talked her into letting me keep that, but I did. I should check out the Silent Hill 1 level viewer. Yes, I do have that. I have a couple different Silent Hill kind of apps, I guess. Like there's a texture remover for 2 and 3. There's a couple different things that I'm just not very technologically savvy, and I'm still working on making them work. One of them I could not get to work. I think Silent Hill 2 and 3 had a level viewer that just won't work on my computer. Just freaking, have I ever found Lovecraft as being boring? Having humanity have no hope for the future and every written work has got to be tiresome. Well, that's the thing. I don't know that necessarily is what's in all his stories. I mean, that's one thing you can take away from it. But really, I don't think that's not what I get from it. At least from, like, the best stories that really resonate with me is more this sense of awe that you can get from, like, looking up at the night sky and just thinking about how vast it is. Like, it's overwhelming. You can't even there's no understanding it. And so his books kind of emulate that feeling of the recognition that we will never fully understand everything. And of course there is baggage with these books, and your mileage may vary on how much of it you can enjoy. But I've enjoyed a lot of his stories. Mountains of Madness is always one that I think of that's just fantastic. Personally, I just bought a collection of his works, and I'm trying to get more into the dreams cycles because those are really, really good and creepy. It's like this guy kind of stumbles into the dream realm and catches the attention of a dream god who just will not leave this dude alone. It's great. Devious Mind's been a member for 5 months. Thank you. Let's see. What if I missed, if anything? Go away. Yes, essentially Bram Stoker's Dracula continued. If you're talking about Hellsing, basically, yeah. They work as bookends very well. Have I been into horror since you were little? Yes. For some reason, my first book I ever wrote was when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I wrote a story about 2 children being stuck on a deserted island with a tiger. I don't know why that was the story or where it came from, but that's what I wrote about. And I've been really into horror ever since. Like, I've been in, I think Hellsing I probably got into like 10, 11, like when it first started coming out, before there was any animated version of it. I read Anne Rice when I was very young, Stephen King. I read a little of everything. I was just big into reading. I was bored, and I just would, suck up any book I could get. But horror really stuck with me a lot, and I ended up just really deeply into that, starting probably with like anime and manga. I remember getting into Mononoke, the anime. Death Parade is one that's pretty cool. It's not really horror, but it has like dark themes. I've watched some Junji Ito films, obviously The Ring, The Grudge, all that stuff. Hannibal, one of my favorites of all time, is the Hannibal Lecter universe. The films, the TV show, the books, they're all great. And they all kind of give a different perspective on the core ideas, and I just love them. There's this fascinating aspect to them that I think it just keeps bringing me back, where everybody knows Hannibal Lecter is like, oh, he's the guy that eats people. That's horrifying. The horrifying part is especially how the books, but I think the TV shows too, make you like him, because he's really one of the few characters who is kind, or respectful at least, to the main character of the book. And so the book presents this world where the general society is so against you or so indifferent to you, and this one monster is the only one that kind of cares for you. So what do? Do you pick the monster or society? And inevitably the story tends to lean towards they end up trying to do the right thing, but it fucks them up anyway, and they're just basically ruined. Like, the movie for Red Dragon ends with Will being with his wife and son again on a boat, like, I've escaped Hannibal, haha. In the book, he ends up divorced and alone, and I'm pretty sure he, like, dies that way. Like, it ruins him losing Hannibal. And of course, the show kind of goes for that darker ending. It's just fun and fascinating. I love everything Hannibal. I will eat it up. Let's see. Yes, there is a film of Kikuchi's book on YouTube called Dark Side Blues. I've read that manga. Still can't tell you what happened in it. I've not watched the film yet. But damn, I don't understand. Some of his stuff is just like a fever dream. It's so weird. But he has a lot of films. Demon City Shinjuku, there's a live adaptation of that from Hong Kong, I think. Dark Side Blues. The 2 Vampire Hunter D movies. I own, like, all of them. He has a live-action movie that I can't remember the name of. It's like The Haunting, The Shutting is something. It's just really, really great. I think Red Dragon and Hannibal Rising were better than the TV series. I don't know about that. I really enjoy both for different reasons. Like, I think the TV show had so much cool shit in it that was just so much fun. But I also really love the films. The Hannibal Rising, the prequel, is actually really, really great. Have I heard of ReZero? I've heard of it, but I've not seen it. I don't watch a lot of anime anymore. I'm just, busy. I read more than I watch things. What have I watched lately? Horror movies, really. Hello, Heather. Welcome. Sorry if I missed you. I love how in the first season... Yes, that is true. The series does some neat things with how it presents characters, and it's true. If you didn't know Hannibal was a bad guy, in the first season, he looks pretty rational. You don't see him murder anybody for a long time. I don't even know in the second season if you see him kill people real fast. I don't remember. Anyway, other horror stuff that I like. I've gotten into the Jason movies lately. They're fun and most of them are stupid, but I had a good time watching them. They're just great. I just love my sad little lake boy that wants to murder all the people having sex in his backyard, which is fair and understandable. I actually got this t-shirt yesterday. I watched the first 3 of these. I liked the first one. It was pretty great, but the others didn't really get... Like, they're just kind of slow. Like, I think the Michael as a character is just a human dude that apparently was in an asylum for being evil, which... Okay, that's fun. Let's not go there. But also because he's not supernatural or super anything. He just kind of takes forever to murder people with his knife. Whereas Jason, like, rips people's arms off and beats them to death with it. So it's really fun to watch, even when the plot is ridiculous. Have I gotten into Takashi Miike or Mike? I'm not sure. I have not gotten into that. I've not seen Violence Jack either. I'm always taking recommendations, of course. I've been trying to get through more stuff, but, I get distracted on things. And my mom prefers watching comedies. We just finished Superstore, and now we're trying Parks and Recreation. Haunting Ground. Yes, I've streamed all of Haunting Ground. I used to actually own that physically. That game's great. It's one of my favorites. And we'll have to play it again soon. Only just watched Scream last week. Scream's fun. I think I've seen the first 3, probably. Yeah. It's been a long time, though. I should actually rewatch those, because I barely remember them. Man, I had a whole list yesterday of horror I really like. I really like weird, unexplained shit. Like Twin Peaks. I actually got lucky and found this at a freaking Goodwill yesterday. All 4 discs in pretty good condition. Hell yeah. Twin Peaks is great. So weird, so wacky, so unexplainable. Like Silent Hill. Like, that's what I love, is the mystery. The ability to look at it and try and solve it, but knowing there's never going to be a real answer. That's fantastic. I like Alan Wake for the same reason. Alan Wake, which is now remastered. I'm going to wait and get it on Switch, because theoretically it might be coming out on Switch. I really love that stuff. Alan Wake was a great game. Other horror. Why is my brain... I should just write this stuff down when I'm thinking about it. I was sitting in my Walmart waiting in line and just thinking up stuff about this yesterday. I was like, yeah, I should talk about this in a video or do a stream or something. And now my brain's... no idea. I've read some Stephen King. I should probably read more of his really famous ones, because I don't know that I have. I mean, I read Carrie, and that was pretty great. What else? All my freaking books are upstairs. There's a lot of Dracula that I really love, like the universe, especially now that he's in the public domain, and I think he has been for a while. But Dracula's great. The first book is fantastic. Bram Stoker's fantastic. The history of that era is really great. There's a lot of interesting subtext going on in there. And then, of course, his great-great-great-nephew, I think, has written 2 books also based on that universe. And one of them was pretty great. It was kind of a reimagining of the story that was really fascinating and kind of portrayed like a different version of the vampire that wasn't necessarily always evil. Like Dracula was still the bad guy, but there was another vampire involved that was like a babysitter or something. I barely remember. It was so good though. I really did like it. I have tried Zero Escape. We actually streamed a little of that. I never got to finish it, but I should do that. I'm bad at puzzles. I'm not patient enough for games with puzzles in them. Maybe I should just watch the cutscenes. I nearly downloaded it, but is it worth playing? Is what worth playing? You should tell me. Read more lore Lovecraft. Oh, I don't know why I was reading that lore. I'd love to. I want to do more readings. Unfortunately, right now, my body is upset at me. Sometimes this happens in the winter. My sinuses, my lungs get upset. Right now, I actually have a sore throat. I have my humidifier over here and my nasal spray, and I've been drinking tea all morning, so any amount of talking, inevitably my voice dies. I'm sure this stream won't get to last that long for that reason, which is why I didn't play a game, because I knew my voice would crap out on me. I don't know why it's doing this. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to actually stream a game. I have a video that's finished. I just have to save it and then post it, so y'all get something at least today later. Hello Charlotte is one that's on my list. Is that a PC game? I need to fix my PC so I can do that. Have you watched the Resident Evil trailer? I haven't. I'm not as big into Resident Evil. I'll probably watch the movie when it comes out, but I'm not like watching and keeping up with it, because I probably would just, I don't know that much about Resident Evil. I don't really keep that much up with it. I have fun playing them. I should replay one of those sometime. I should get 4 again. That game's fun. Honestly, I enjoy all of them, but 4 is just like fun to play when you're bored. Pew, pew, pew. More horror. Let's look at my... See, I to remember anything, I have to keep like lists of things, which is what I use GOG to keep track of every game I own. Where are you, GOG? Oh, there you are. You're a purple circle. I forgot. I don't know why I can never remember what its freaking icon is. Fatal Frame, of course. I love those games. They are just so good. Would I like to interview Christopher Gans one day? Not really. I mean, interviewing seems like such a terrifying prospect to begin with, but also, like, I would have things I would want to say, and it just probably wouldn't go well. So let's just not do that. Here we go. A list of all my horror games. Where'd my... Why are you not in alphabetical order? Oh, here we go, my tags. I was in the wrong section. Amnesia. I liked the first Amnesia a lot. I should get around to playing the other ones. That was fun. The remake of Black Mirror. The first one, like, it's just really old, and I'm not, like I said, patient with puzzles, so it was not for me. But I liked the 2015 remake. That was pretty fun. Had a really gorgeous, like, Scottish or Irish song that opened it up. It was great. That was actually the first game I ever streamed. I don't even know if it's still on my YouTube anywhere, but it was the first thing I ever played on a stream. Let's see. Call of Cthulhu. I played that. That was neat, but it was definitely really buggy and broken, and I ended up not being able to finish streaming it for that reason. Castlevania. I've played Symphony of the Night. Fantastic. I had a great time with it. And Bloodstained, the, sort of spiritual sequel. Loved that. I've played a little bit of the Game Boy ones, but I broke my Game Boy before I could finish it. So I'll have to get around to doing more of those at some point. I don't really enjoy the older ones. I tried the collection on the Switch, but I just couldn't get into the older ones. They weren't for me. Clock Tower 3 is goofy as hell, but that was one of my major games as a kid. I played it all the time. You're this girl that inherits these powers, and she's chosen to fight stuff, and her grandpa wants to absorb her soul or something, and so you end up going through these kind of campy levels where you fight serial killers, and it's fun, and it's goofy, and it's not very frightening, but I really did enjoy playing it. I had a lot of fun with it. Cold Fear was another one that was fun. It had such a unique concept behind it. You're on this boat while you're fighting terrible monsters that want to eat your face, and that concept and the use of the water was really cool, especially looking out over the ocean and how huge the waves were. It was great. It kind of failed the ending there though, when the final boss was ridiculously impossible and stupid, but otherwise I really did enjoy that game. Criminal Origins, Condemned Criminal Origins, one of my favorite games. One of 2 games on the Xbox I ever played. I loved it. It just has some really cool moments in it where it gets really trippy, the mall and the mannequins and the visions that you have. I think I would have changed up a little bit of it. There's some of it that now as an adult I look back and I'm you could have done something different there, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it as a kid. Where is my Parasite Eve Dino Crisis gang? I do need to play Parasite Eve. I have played the first Dino Crisis. That game was fun. I enjoyed it. I've always been a fan of Jurassic Park, so I was eager to play a game with dinos in it. But I haven't played the other ones. Candy! Come here! Gandalf doesn't want to come here. He's being mean. Another game I really like is called D. Just the letter D. It's a old Sega Saturn game, I think. You can get it on GOG, where you play as this girl named Laura, who enters into this hospital, I think? It's kind of hard to explain, but you end up, traveling through time and trying to, figure out this mystery and find your father, and one of the endings involves you being eaten alive, so that's fun. And that was a really, really fun game. It's super short, too. You could beat it in 2-3 hours, especially if you don't get lost. Do you like eerie, unsettling horror music not related to video games? I'm like a little of everything when it comes to music. I tend to listen to Patrick Wolf, Janelle Monáe, Angel Hayes, who else? Placebo, something not sleeping, still not sleeping, you're not sleeping. I can't remember it anymore. It's left my brain. But I tend to listen to kind of more chill instrumental stuff. Oh yeah, D was really fun. And I want to play D2, but unfortunately D2 and Enemy Zero have been really hard for me to figure out how to emulate because they were only on the Dreamcast or the Saturn or what have you, so I haven't made them work yet. One of these days, hopefully, I'll get to actually stream those. Dead Space. I loved the first Dead Space. I vividly remember the high school party we played Dead Space at for the first time at my parents' house. A bunch of kids over in the dark playing this game, probably around Halloween, and it was so creepy, so good. One of the few more sci-fi horror that I've really enjoyed. I tend to go for more psychological, kind of bordering on supernatural, depending. But that was just so good. It was definitely the closest to a really good Alien game we probably would get. And I'm really sad that they kind of just destroyed it. sad. That whole thing is stupid. They really spent way too much money on Dead Space thinking that because it was popular, it was going to explode and make them $1 billion. And it's like, well, no. Horror doesn't really make $1 billion unless it's Capcom. Devil May Cry, speaking of Capcom, I guess it's not really horror, but it kind of, bridges that it's horror themes and there's like nasty monsters in it and stuff. I mean, that's one of the game series that I've been playing since it started coming out. I remember growing up with it and playing 1 and 2 and, all on the PlayStation. And, oh man, 2 was so dull. Oh man, but I loved playing all of them as a kid, and 4 was just a huge part of my childhood. I have a vivid memory of babysitting my niece with my mom at my brother's apartment and playing it on his Xbox, because I didn't own an Xbox, and I guess it was only on there, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I didn't have a PS3 at the time, and the scene where like the naked frog ladies or whatever show up in the snow was playing on the TV, and my mom was facing me, and I was looking at the TV like, please don't turn around, don't turn around. I think the Gloria scene, same thing, was like happening. I was like, please don't look at the TV right now. I love those games. Alien Isolation. I've not played it. I have heard good things about it. I know that's probably in response to me saying the thing about Dead Space, but I've not played that yet. I got excellent book recommendations. Oh, good. I'll have to try and think of more books. The Ring, duh! Freaking The Ring book. Read all the books by Koji Suzuki. They're really great, really creepy. I actually read the entirety of The Ring aloud on my book channel, if you want to go check that out. That was fun. That'd give you a taste of what his work is like. It's so good. Let's see. Echo Knight. I streamed the first Echo Knight a while ago. That's a PS1 game that was made by From Software, and it's kind of another one of those like weird supernatural horror kind of things. You go into this house looking for your dad, somebody. You go looking in the house and you find a book, I think, and you open the book and then you're sucked into a book and you wake up on a ship. And the ship is like got all these dead souls or these memories on it, and you've got to kind of figure out what these memories are and how to like get people free of the boat, like set them free. And also near the end you're attacked by a terrible ghostly monster or something, and it's a supernatural like ghost mystery. It's really, really interesting. And there's 2 sequels. The first one only came out in Japan, but there's fan translations, and one of these days I'll have to actually finish playing that. I got stuck and there's no guide that I could find, unfortunately. The Evil Within, another one. I've probably streamed most of these if I actually, liked them. The Evil Within, it was really fun. It was very cinematic. It had a sense of being like an interactive horror movie in some ways, and it definitely had some like weird twists and turns, and the story that was happening was really cool, and there were some effects that were just really, really, really great. Like, I don't know that I found it frightening. I don't know if it was a really great horror experience, but there was a lot there that was enjoyable to me as a horror fan, Like, I don't know that I was ever really frightened, but I was having a good time, and I really want to try the next one. Yeah, American McGee's Alice. I've been told that I should play that, and one of these days I will. One of these days. Fatal Frame. I've streamed Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3. They're some of my favorite games of all time. I almost played it again today. I was like, I should stream that. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to have enough. It's not going to happen. They're great. They're some of the only things that genuinely frighten me, because I can't prove ghosts aren't real, and there's not one behind me right now. And that's always just, after I play Fatal Frame and I lay down to go to bed, I'm just like, there's something here, like it just gets me thinking, and that's great. That's what I want horror to do. I'm working on a video right now about the real life horror stories, the ghosts and hauntings behind Fatal Frame, in that the team that makes Fatal Frame is haunted. And there is some wild shit in there. I finished the script yesterday, and I hadn't read all the ghost stories until I finished writing out, I was kind of reading and annotating. Holy shit. Some of the stuff that happens makes you think, okay, why did you keep making these games if you thought they were haunting you and doing this to you? And this is so bad. How are you still here? This is terrifying. I think the director of that game series needs to earn an award for most haunted game director. And just, like, it's hard enough making a video game, but making a video game and also being haunted and not, like, losing your mind? Great. Just, what a guy. I can't wait to finish that video. Oh, man. Oh, it's fantastic. Let's see here. What else have we got? Oh, man, Hellblade. Love Hellblade. It is the story of a Irish or like a Gaelic, she's from a specific place that I don't remember the name of, but she's like a Celtic warrior who goes on a quest to find the Norse underworld to rescue her husband, who was sacrificed by some bad guys, and she goes through all these terrible, terrifying experiences. And it's actually a kind of, it's a supernatural story, but it is also a story of mental illness. And so the game is kind of presenting a supernatural story through the visuals of what it is to have certain mental illnesses. And so it's kind of like this could be her processing the loss of her husband through her mental illness that she has, and it also talks about the way that people treated her because of it and the horrible things that happened. And it was really sad, but also really good and incredibly terrifying. One of the best games I've ever played. If I could have someone make a Silent Hill game and it be like a Western team, I would have it be those people, because it's so good. What are some personal, paranormal, unexplainable experiences I've had? I really haven't. Well, okay, I haven't. I live in the American South, and we're surrounded by ghost stories. It's just freaking everywhere. My dad grew up in Wilmington, and the freaking ghost stories everywhere. It's next to what's called the Atlantic Graveyard, where all the pirates sank, and there's tons of stories of ghosts and lighthouses and all that. My dad told me a story of seeing a phantom train conductor or whatever, like a lamp. He was at a train, I guess, at night. Was he waiting for a train, or was he just walking home? I don't know. But he was at a train station, and he saw a guy walking along the side of the train with a lantern, like, all aboard, blah, blah, blah. But then it came closer, and there was no guy, and it was just a lantern that was floating, and then the lantern vanished, and that was the story. Later, my mom and my sister-in-law actually had some experiences where they felt like they had experienced my dad's spirit. The smell of cigarettes, which he's the only family member that ever smoked, and table, chair, furniture moving on its own where he used to sit and smoke outside. I don't know. Maybe. I didn't, like I said, you can't prove a negative, so maybe not. But either way, I like, I don't know, you feel a connection when you lose somebody that's just like, they're always kind of on your mind. Let's see, Haunting Ground. We mentioned that one already, but it's a kind of spiritual sequel to Clock Tower, and it has a lot of things in common with it, but it's way better than Clock Tower 3. Like, it's a far more serious and dreadful take on the themes and the kind of story, and really, really fun to play with this great big castle to explore and a lot of like alchemy and magic in the background. It's really great. I will stream that one at some point this month, I'm sure, because I love that game. I'm sorry to hear that. I do love Walter Sullivan. He is a great character, though. One of my favorites for sure. House of Fata Morgana. That's a horror visual novel that's just, there are no words for how good it is. I've also streamed that, and you can check it out on my playlist below that has all my streams. It made me cry. It's so good, and it's so fantastic. It's just out of this world how good it is. The main character shows up to this mansion, and he has no memory of who he is, and the person in the mansion, this maid, basically says, people who come here are looking for something, and I can help you find it, and walks you through these events that have all happened in the mansion over the various years, and eventually it builds up to a fascinating, beautiful reveal of the truth of the mansion and everyone that's there. It is so good. It is one of the best things I've ever read, ever played, ever. just fantastic. The music, the visuals, the themes, the story. Play The House in Fata Morgana if you've not. It's just, I don't even want to talk more about what it is because it just gives it away, but it's the best thing. And it personally helped me in my personal life with personal things. So it's that good. It's so good. Kodelka, I've been working and thinking about that one for a while, is a PS1 horror game that is just so weird and fascinating. I've mentioned it in a couple of my videos because I've been making videos about 90s games, and it was a pretty prominent one at the time. Unfortunately, it didn't sell enough, but it was really revolutionary. It was the first game to have 4 people in a motion capture scene. It kind of pushed the boundaries on technology there, and it has a really fascinating, beautiful story, and it ended up kind of branching out into the Shadow Hearts universe. It's not really kind of a prequel, kind of connected, but it's not really the same kind of thing. The guy that made Kodelka ended up leaving, but the guy that worked with him, I don't remember what he was, but he ended up becoming director on Shadow Hearts. So it has some through lines. The guy that made Kodelka follows me on Twitter. Holy shit. That happened 2 days ago, and I'm still freaking out about it. Siren's a must-have on your channel. I have streamed it. I'm bad at it. I will play it soon because I want to get through it. Somebody sent me the guide. I think it's upstairs. I really enjoy it, but I'm not very good at it. Kodelka's great, but it's like 10,000 on eBay. It's not that much. I used to own it physically, and I think I sold it for $100. But emulate. Especially old games like that. It's really, way easier to emulate them now. I love them. Yeah, a lot of people had that issue with Siren, Daniel, to the point that they made the second game easier because Toyama was like, I didn't realize so many people were going to want to play this game, and I don't want to keep them all out of it, so let's make this game easier. Kuon, another rare game. So good, though. It's set in a feudal era of Japan. I don't remember which era, but there's this mansion that's being haunted and 2 main characters who end up investigating the haunting, and you play the game through different stories for different characters and get to see different versions of the events, and it's just creepy and unnerving at points. Some of the visuals were really, it's kind of an unpleasant horror at times, some body horror that I really, really like. It's really good. Definitely one of my favorite PS2 horror games. Lola, what were you barking about? Come here. Lola, come say hi. Hi, baby girl. Come on. Hello. Hello. Can you say hi? Hello. Speaking of haunting ground, here's my Huey. You my Huey? Yeah, you're my Huey. Would you save me from a serial killer? Say, I don't know. I'm not that smart. I'm not as smart as Huey. No, I'm not. I'm not as smart as Huey. Let's see. What else we got here? Man, that's a lot of games I have that I haven't played. Metroid Fusion is a Game Boy game. I guess it's not really horror, but as a kid, it always felt like it to me because it has some pretty creepy music and some body horror themes and the aliens and stuff. It's kind of a horror game a little bit, and I never beat it because I was very bad at it, but I recently started replaying it, so I'm hoping to beat it soon. Oh, thank you. Recently discovered your channel. Love the Silent Hill stuff. Awesome. Binging your vids lately, and thanks so much. Aw, great. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad people enjoy it. It's good to know Silent Hill is still alive in all our hearts, even if it's dead in Konami's. If I were a Silent Hill character, who would I be? I would be Henry. A specific version of Henry, and longtime people know what I'm talking about, and don't you dare tell anyone else. This is our secret. If they hang around long enough, they'll find out. What's my method of choice? I stream through a old PS3. It's one of the, not fats, I guess. I think I updated to a slim. I've hacked it with, crap. I've used a couple different emulators, but recently I think it was the Snake one. Is it called Cobra? I think it's called Cobra. And it works really well. Streams most things. I think 3DS, DS games it won't do, and Wii U, GameCube, which is why I've got a Wii here. I'm hacking, working on, and that'll be able to do basically everything but 3DS. So 3DS will be the only thing I have to play on my PC, which I think we've done in the past, and it kind of works, so probably shouldn't be that big an issue. I have played Rule of Rose. It is fun. It's pretty. It's interesting. I'm bad at it, and I got stuck on that first boss. One of these days, I will actually work on playing that more. Yeah, there were novels for the RE games, and they're apparently good. I've actually come across some of those, like, just in the wild at used bookstores, and I've always kind of looked at them like, huh, should I read this? And I just never have. I've never been that big into Resident Evil anyway, so one of these days I'll have to. What else do we have here? We're getting to the list of games I haven't played yet. Of course, the Resident Evil games, I've enjoyed them. I wouldn't say they're any of my favorites, but I don't know, zombies aren't really something that's frightening to me. They're more fun. They're more campy horror to me. They don't really, like, haunt me, you know, and I like to be haunted. Sea of Solitude was pretty neat. Kind of a, not really horror, but kind of horror themes. I had some neat story stuff going on. They've released an updated version with more stuff, and I should check that out, but I've heard that the update is good. Well, guys, have I ever written my own original Silent Hill story? Don't anyone say a thing. I told you not to say things. Don't say anything. But the answer is yes. Let's see. Severed. Severed was an old DS game that's now on Switch. Unfortunately, you can't stream it because it requires the touchpad. It used the DS features with the touchscreen to do, like, you could use the stick to swipe and cut things, and the whole idea was that you're trying to, like, use your sword to cut stuff in specific ways, and the fighting system was based on, you know, cutting in a certain pattern or what have you, and it was really good. It's this girl living in this, like, monster world where her family gets murdered or eaten or something, and so she goes on a quest to find out what happened to them and to take revenge. And it was really good, and the art was very unique and interesting, and it kind of left me really a little bit forlorn at the end, like, oh man, it was good. I really liked it. Let's see. Of course, the Shin Megami Tensei series and Persona, but Shin Megami Tensei is more horror than Persona is. I've played 4 and 3, and I've played a little bit of one of the old ones, but not very much. I loved 4, so good, and 3, but I think 4 was my favorite. It just, I don't know, there was something more to it. It just really worked for me. Oh, and I played one of the side games, Devil Survivor 2. It wasn't my favorite, but Shin Megami Tensei in general is just really a fascinating blend of, like, technology and magic and monsters and the apocalypse, and they're just really great. And there's a lot of variations on the theme now since they have, like, 20 million games and a bunch of books and all that, so I highly recommend trying them out. You're likely to find one you like if you're an RPG fan / horror fan. Of course, Silent Hill, we all know those. I have played all of those to death. I love them all to death. Oh wow, that's the end of my horror games, so I guess that's that. Talked about books. The Ring books by Koji Suzuki, Any books by Hideyuki Kikuchi, the Hannibal books by Thomas Harris, Dracula and the books by his great-great-great-nephew, not Dracula's great-nephew, Bram Stoker's nephew, that are really, really good. Anne Rice, you know, she could get it right sometimes. There's some good stuff in some of her books, but also she's wacky and weird and loses her mind sometimes. I remember how mad you got at SMT4's neutral route and being lost. Was it SMT4? I know I did live tweet a little of that, but I didn't stream that one. I streamed 3 though. And I never ended up finishing it because I got stuck on one of the final bosses. So one of these days I'll have to buy the version on Switch and actually finish it. But yeah, that's all the games I can think of. I'm sure there's more movies. What was that movie called? There's this really cute movie that's like, it's like Chinese, Japanese. Where did I put my, I've got my, let me go to my movies section of my drive, duh. Where did I put movies? Are you here? I have too many hard drives, and they're all almost full. Here we go. Let's see, Event Horizon, great. Really, really kind of, I guess it's the story of Lawrence Fishburne regretting going to space. That seems like a good explanation. Obviously, Hannibal, we talked about those. The House, which we actually watched on Discord recently, is a really wild, wacky Japanese horror film that just cannot be put into words. You just gotta watch it. All the Ju-on or the Grudge films. Thoughts on Blasphemous. It's a Metroidvania revolving around penance fleshed out by Spanish Gothic imagery. It's been on my wish list for a long time, and I've hesitated to buy it because I'm afraid I'm gonna buy it, and it's gonna be too hard for me because I'm not good at hard games. But every once in a while I look at it like, this looks like it could be my thing. Unless I'm bad at it. But it looks neat. One of these days, I might have to give in. Kwaidan is another Japanese horror film. It's a classic. It's like 2-3 hours long. It's pretty long. And it's actually 4 different short stories put together into a film. It's based on a book and the research of a Japanese historian, basically, who went around collecting folklore and ghost stories and putting them all into this book and sharing them and kind of bringing light to this huge history of Japanese folklore and Shinto traditions. And the movie takes 4 of those stories and turns it into a movie. And it's just beautiful and haunting, and I really, really love it. Let's see. The Ring movies, of course, including Sadako versus Kayako, which is the crossover with The Grudge, which is so bonkers. Speaking of Freddy versus Jason, just great. Classic fun. I love it. Suspiria, the original one. Beautiful. It's one of Akira Yamaoka's favorite movies, so you know it's good. The Awakening was a pretty decent, like, English kind of ghost story in a boys' sporting school. The Exorcist, really messed up, had some great stuff in there. Loved the ending. The Shining, of course. Train to Busan, yeah. Terribly sad, so good. And Warning Do Not Play, which is a Korean film that I think it's like a guy makes a horror movie, but it turns out the movie was real, and so this girl gets involved in, like, she's trying to make the new best horror movie, and she starts investigating the horror movie that was real, and stuff happens. It was fascinating. I really enjoyed it. But my voice is leaving me, so we'll have to call this now. I hate that, but unfortunately, like I said, I've just been having a lot of issues with my sinuses and asthmatic lungs. So we'll call it. Have I tried Control and Alan Wake? I love Alan Wake. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and one of these days I will try Control. Thank you for watching. Be sure to let me know if you check out any of that stuff, and let me know what you think. Should have a video going up in like an hour or 2. And then tomorrow I hope I will stream. I'll try and rest my voice and see if I can stream something. Maybe Fatal Frame, maybe Siren. I haven't decided which. Thanks to all of our members and supporters like Jeff, Victor, Daniel, and Vessel of Amala for donating. Schneiderline, Delvin, who else was here today? Y'all keep the channel alive. Thank you so much for the support. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so for as little as 99 cents a month. You get access to like 20 more Silent Hill videos, free copies of my books about, my books about Silent Hill, lots of extra stuff, and my eternal love and devotion. Trying to think of what else. Yeah, more videos soon. I'm not really doing a schedule right now since it's October. I'm trying to put out as many as I can once they're finished. So I'll keep doing that, working on the Fatal Frame video and the Silent Hill history stuff and symbolism stuff. And yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.